This will go on unspokenoautobiography.com, and I want to talk about why I fell out with two of my close friends, close model friends, Christopher Stein and Kurt Roberson. Okay, let me preface this by, on a minor note, we went out one time and, we were all real good friends. We became friends from modeling. They were veteran models locally, and I'm still fairly new, just 2 years in, and we became friends over the past two years, close friends. We'd hang out outside of work, the three of us, all the fucking time. Well, there was one instance where we went out to a club and people were more friendly to them because people worship mixed and light-skinned people. The closer you are to white, the more you are valued. So they were getting attention that people wouldn't even talk to me. Okay? So anyway, first of all, I'm drunk. No point about it. I'm drunk. I don't get drunk. That's my own fault. So I've been drinking bourbon. And anyway, we walk out of the club and we couldn't get back in. Like, as soon as we walked out the door, and like, I don't go to clubs like that often. So I was like, we can't get back in? I just stepped out to get some fresh air. Like, I didn't walk 2 steps. And so then I think some bitches in line were laughing at me or something. And anyway, I was vulnerable from being drunk. I was vulnerable because I was black with two light-skinned niggas. And this bitch wants to laugh at me. And all I did was try and show her my Instagram where I was a model too. That's all. And she decided to act like I was harassing her. So then two cops come up on me and I felt targeted. So I started bucking the cops. But I was wrong. Just like in that situation, I was wrong. And so the next day I woke up and I apologized on the internet. I wrote this whole thing about what happened and what I did and where I was wrong. And I acknowledged that I was wrong and I apologized for it. And I even said that cops have a hard job and we should be easier on them. End of fucking story. People make mistakes, especially under alcohol, and I don't drink anymore. So moving on, that was a negative. That was a black mark. Well, no pun intended, but that was a negative spot on my, just on me, right? Okay, so here's where it gets juicy. I am a bisexual male, and I enjoy threesomes with men and women. So this hoe from work, and I don't say that loosely, this hoe from work, my former job, wanted to fuck me. But I'm not that into women. Not that into women. You gotta be, whew. And I'm definitely not into white women because of racism, because of how white people treat us. They either think they're too good for us or they think they're entitled to our dicks. And when a person like me says, no, because if I have sex with you and you decide you want to get me, if I don't do what you say and you decide you want to get me, you can scream rape and people will believe you. I'm not putting myself in that fucking position. It doesn't make me racist. It means I'm protecting my fucking self. So I don't get involved with white women like that. They don't really turn me on. But I call Christopher Stein at like midnight and say, hey, nigga, you want to come rail this hoe? This nigga came right fucking over. And so did this bitch. So anyway, we all do the damn thing in my apartment. There was no homosexuality. But, I mean, we were all doing it. So, anyway. So, I'm not the type... This is not my first rodeo. I've been bisexual for a long time. This ain't the first time I've recorded my sex. I've got plenty of sex recorded. So, I don't think anything of it. It was an experience with my friends. So the fuck what? I don't say nothing. I don't tell nobody. I don't say shit because I'm a grown up and mature about my shit. This nigga tells all his close friends, he's younger than me by like 10 years, Christopher Stein. So he tells his friends and brings them all over to smoke. So like, if y'all were just in this particular moment, he's got two other young niggas at me, kind of like sitting here looking at me in my apartment like, where's the pussy? And it's just like, nigga, why you running your mouth? Anyway, we move on. So we do tell our third leg, our friend Kurt, our modeling friend Kurt. So it's the three of us, me, Chris, and Kurt. So we do tell Kurt, of course, duh. So anyway, we move the fuck on. So let me tell you how they tried to marginalize my voice and my existence on multiple occasions and still to this day cannot hear me as my friends when I say this. It's crazy when you're with a group of people who you think are your friends. And at this point, we hadn't had the gay talk, but people can tell. So these niggas knew that I was gay and or bisexual. And we're hanging out at one point, and Kurt says, in the deepest of conversation, I don't know how it came up, but he says that homosexuality is a choice. And that's offensive as fuck, because no one fucking chooses to be discriminated against, okay? It's no more choice than the color of my skin. You know what choice I had? To accept myself and love myself no matter, regardless of the judgments of others. That's the only fucking choice I made, okay? So that's offensive as fuck for one of my best friends to marginalize my existence as a choice. So I try to explain this to them, and it never got through their thick skulls, okay? So I held this in for a month, and then later I wound up having a mental breakdown and shit. This was months later. But I held this in, but after my mental breakdown, I explained to them how that made me feel as their friends, and how in that moment I could see that they were making eye contact with each other in a straight kind of way. Like I didn't know what they were non-verbally communicating to each other. And they were just teaming up on me. And it's their privilege as a straight person and a light-skinned person, but a straight person, to dictate the norm. So what they say goes if they band together. And what I say, what my minority ass says, is just a feeling, and it's not fact. I'm just being too sensitive. And like they tell all minorities, especially black people, let it go, you're being too sensitive and you're overreacting. Anytime a minority is marginalized and they voice it, the majority tries to belittle and degrade what they say. No, belittle and, yeah, just let's go with belittle. So anyway, they try and belittle what they say and write it off as just a feeling. And that's fucked up for you to be my friends and not be able to hear me. But I held on to that for like a month or two. And then I explained it to them after my mental breakdown. And then everything was all cool, right? So then COVID came. And so then we didn't see each other for a few months. So then Kurt's talking about he misses the trio. Oh, yeah. And Kurt wanted me to sing Ed Sheeran's Perfect for the 2020 Kentucky Derby fashion show where he was planning to propose to his now fiance. So if you look on my YouTube, I'm singing Ed Sheeran's Perfect, practicing in my car for this nigga. Well, at some point we're hanging at this nigga's house and I meet his girlfriend, his fiance. She has nothing to do with the story except she was there. So then we're talking about how my former DL lover, my former closeted lover, tried to charge me with rape and put me through all this shit that I made it out of because it was bullshit. But what they said was that I needed to focus on myself and not find love. And the thing is, I've been single for 35 fucking years almost, okay? Because of oppression and being stripped of my sexuality and self-acceptance, okay? So for a normalized sexuality, I said, Chris said this to me. I said, Chris, how many relationships have you been in? He's like, well, I've been in a few long-term relationships. And I'm like, well, it's a mighty big privilege of you to tell an oppressed person, someone who's been stripped of love and acceptance and sexuality and so on and so forth, that they shouldn't seek love. It's a privilege when you've had it and you're going to look at me and tell me I don't need it and shouldn't seek it. So that was a whole thing. And they couldn't fucking hear me. It was really me and Chris, and Kurt was going silent. And that pissed me off, because for the second time, they were my fucking friends, and they were marginalizing my existence, and they couldn't fucking hear me. And it's crazy, because they're light-skinned black, and they want to be all Black Lives Matter, but they can't hear when another minority group says you are marginalizing my existence. So what it really is oppressed people oppress people. And black people don't want more stigma, so they don't accept mental illness or gay people, okay? So while these light-skinned niggas are trying to prove that they're black, they're oppressing other minority groups to prove their blackness, okay? So this pisses me off because I can see what the fuck's going on. So me and Chris get into an argument and I fucking leave because they're not hearing me. Kurt's ass wants to be the mediator and walks down to my car before I leave, acting like, I don't know what he's acting like, but this nigga says to me, I see both sides. And any oppressed motherfucker knows that there's no two sides to oppression and marginalization, okay? There's the oppressor and there's the oppressed. There's wrong and then there's correct. So that pisses me off, and I say, Kurt, can you please let me leave so that, because I'd like to keep your all's friendship. Will y'all please let me leave? Okay, so I leave, and I don't know, a few weeks go by, I get me a white girlfriend because she was my best friend, and she talked me into it, and I thought she'd do better, but in the long run, she wound up being what I expected her to be, but that's not the point. I'm not racist, and she did love me in some type of way, and so I decided to love her back. She looks at me like a lesbian, like straight men look at lesbians. So like we were shopping dick together. I'm not ashamed of it. Why would I be ashamed of what I like? So anyway, I'm talking to Kurt on the phone. I'm telling Kurt about my relationship with my girlfriend. And the conversation abruptly and quickly, he thinks he's smooth. What happened was, he says, wait, you all have group sex? Is it recorded? Is Chris in any of them? Oh man, you should delete that. Okay, my thing is, who are you to comment on something you weren't even involved in? And like I said, y'all, I didn't bring this shit up. It's not something for me to hold over my friend's head. I protect my friends, but disloyalty begets disloyalty in my world. No, you aren't going to bully me or marginalize me and then think I'm just going to keep silent about it, okay? So I'm basically like, Kurt, mind your fucking business. It has nothing to do with you. And my thing is, they have the privilege of dictating the moment, or so they think, until they meet a nigga like me. So they think that something that happens in my apartment that they willingly let me record, an engagement that I spun, an engagement that I wove. These two niggas, this bitch and Chris, didn't know each other. They met 5 minutes before they fucking fucked, okay? Or we all fucked, okay? This was my entire ordeal. So for this nigga, for Kurt, I guess what happened was Chris told Kurt about it and that he wanted it deleted. And my thing is, you have nothing to worry about because it's in my vault and you're my friend. And I don't even watch this shit. But it's my memory too. I don't owe you that. You are a willing participant. Done. But I love my friends, so it's not something I would hang over their head for blackmail or even mention to ruin their reputation. It's not even out of sight. It's out of sight, out of mind. I don't fucking care. But like closeted and DL niggas, even straight niggas do things in the dark and try and disassociate from it in the light. I'm not that fucking nigga. So apparently Chris had told Kurt about it, and Kurt audaciously comes to me because he thinks he's the mediator, and he thinks because he's calm and privileged and light-skinned and straight that he gets to meddle in business that doesn't concern him. So anyway, that was my last fucking straw. So I put the three of us in a group text message, and I'm like, I'm just going to set the tone on this shit, niggas. I feel like y'all niggas aren't my fucking friends because y'all always ganging up on me. Well, apparently Chris was at work, so he never responded, but I'm sure he got all the fucking messages. Kurt decides to start calling me, and I said, no, I'm not answering the phone because this is a group conversation. Well, Kurt's audacious, entitled, light-skinned, hetero, privileged ass decides to keep going on with the conversation. So he keeps telling me, and I have the receipts that I will fucking post. He keeps telling me that he doesn't know how he hurt me. And basically that I'm just being too sensitive. And then he goes, if you want to talk about respect, he pulls Chris's shit up, that has nothing to do with him. It has nothing to do with me and Kurt. He pulls in Chris's shit because they tag teaming, right? They gang up against me. He said, if you want to talk about respect, you should delete his shit. That set me the fuck off because you're not going to marginalize and oppress me, call yourself my friend, and then think you fucking dictate what I do when it doesn't have anything to fucking do with you. So, instead of these niggas apologizing and listening to me, they decided to belittle my black gay ass. And I'm not going to be belittled by no bitch ass privileged light skins. Okay? So Kurt sends me this fucking gif about some nigga soaking. What he's saying is what we tell all minorities, that they're too fucking sensitive. So rather than hear me, he decided to poke fun at me. So I was like, fuck you, nigga. My bitch is better than yours, and I don't even like them. Okay. And so I never heard from Chris. This was on June 26th. Tell me why 45 minutes after that, Christopher Stein posts on his Facebook, there are demons walking among us, and I know one personally. So rather than reflect on their own insecurities and demons, they displace them onto me and demonize and villainize me and my sexuality like that shit hasn't been done enough my whole fucking life. And like I need that from niggas who say they're my fucking friends. So, I ain't going down like that. Just like my family, just like my DL closeted boyfriends. No, what you do in the dark is coming into the light, and I'm going to shine fucking light on it. So, that's the fucking story. These niggas owe me a fucking apology. And this sex tape is real. I probably won't post it. But if I need to bring out the fucking receipts, I fucking will. I ain't do nothing wrong. Fuck your religion. You don't impose your religious values on me. Just because I live differently doesn't mean that you can demonize and villainize me. No. So it's time for a rude awakening, motherfuckers. We're going to be treated as equals, black, gay, women, or non-Christian or otherwise. We're going to be respected, and you don't get to impose your beliefs on me and dictate the moment and marginalize my existence. Now, what you think about that? Oh, yeah. And so, Kurt, remember I said I made a mistake at the bar that night? Well, rather than hear me at the end of all this, Kurt decides to dub me Hurricane Charles. Like I'm just an emotional wreck. And my perspective and voice doesn't matter. Well, niggas, how y'all feel about this hurricane?